Hello friends. This is Jamkhedkar from Borivali. Today we are here to learn and find out what is the syllabus for 12th standard 2021 19-2021, and the subject is accounts. In your accounts new syllabus, board has sent us topics which are to be covered in this syllabus. The topics covered in this syllabus are introduction of partnership and partnership final accounts. In all, there are 11 topics which are covered in your syllabus. So, second topic is how the accounts are to be prepared for not-for-profit organization. Third topic covered is admission of partner. Fourth is retirement of partner. And next is death of a partner, then dissolution of partnership firm. So, regarding partnership accounts, in all there are 5 topics which are covered. That is partnership final account, admission of partner, death of partner, retirement of partner, and partnership dissolution. So, 7th topic which is covered in your syllabus is bills of exchange. Then comes company final accounts. Now from company final accounts, 2 topics are introduced, and that is issue of shares and analysis of financial statement. Now, last topic which is covered in your syllabus is computer in accounting. How computer is used while preparation of accounts. So, in all there are 10 topics. Now, for you, the syllabus is new. But if we compare this syllabus with old syllabus, let me tell you, only one topic, that is computer in accounting, is a new topic which is covered in your syllabus. All other topics are already covered by the board in old syllabus. So why I am telling you this is you can purchase 12th standard book, board book, which was prescribed by Maharashtra board, and from that book you can learn almost everything given in that old book. So you get the book, accounts book, from your friends and relatives and neighbors, and we can start learning from that book. You can also start individually. Now, today I will give you overall idea what are the topics in each topic. Board has given only topics, but contents of topics can be learned and seen. So let me explain you whatever entire syllabus covers. So first topic is introduction to partnership and partnership final accounts. So introduction of partnership means what is partnership, what are the types of partners, then what is the partnership agreement, what is the limit of partnership members, partners, what are the minimum partners, maximum partners which are allowed in your partnership business. Then, what are the types of capital? Fixed capital, fluctuating capital. So, in brief, whatever is given in Partnership Act 1932 and then revised, the accounting aspect of this act is given in your introduction to partnership. And second part of first chapter is partnership final accounts. You have already learned final accounts of sole trader, how the final account is prepared in your sole trader business. So now in this year, when there are partners, how the final accounts are prepared, which accounts are prepared in final accounts are prepared while learning this final accounts, how the capitals are to be shown, how they are prepared, that is to be learned in this topic. Now second topic is accounts of not-for-profit organization. Not-for-profit organization means organization which do the activities or give services, for example, hospitals, library, schools, colleges, then cooperative society, chamber of commerce. All these organizations are called not-for-profit organization. These organizations are not doing any production activity. The object of these firms or organization is to give service to the people. So, how the accounts are maintained, how final accounts are prepared, which accounts are to be shown while preparing final accounts is covered in this topic. After this, there are again partnership related topic, and that is admission of partner. Now, what is admission of partner? So, admission of partner means when two partners are running business and when their business expands, so they will be needing, they might need more hands. So in a growing concern, initial stage partners can appoint people and get the work done from them. But as the business gets advanced, it expanded, in that case there will be requirement of finance and specialized skill. So in that case, existing partners may go for additional hand. So when additional hand is joining the partnership firm, new partner will be bringing some capital. So the constitution of partnership business will change because the profit sharing ratio, existing partners will have to give some portion of their profit to the new partner. So how the partners, existing partner, when he is admitting new partner, how the accounts are prepared, which accounts are prepared when partner is admitted. So that is what you have to learn in admission of partner. Then next topic is retirement of partner. So retirement of partner means because of old age, because of ill health, one of the partner may leave the concern. So he is getting retired. So at the time of retirement of partner, how the accounts are again to be prepared, because the profit sharing ratio will change. Then whatever capital he has introduced, will have to be given back to him. So then again, in this case, when partner is retiring, how the accounts are to be prepared, that is to be learned in this retirement of partnership firm. Now next comes death of a partner. So if partner dies, then how the accounts are prepared. Now what is the difference between retirement and death of a partner? So in case of retirement of partner, whatever amount is payable to him in the form of capital and profit earned by him in last accounting year in which he is living will be given to him. But in case of death of a partner, he dies. So amount due to him or amount payable to him will be given to legal heirs of the partners, legal heirs of deceased partner. So when partner dies, again how accounts are prepared in partnership business. So that is to be learned in this death of a partner. Now comes next topic is dissolution of partnership. Dissolution of partnership means partnership firm is getting close because of various reasons, because of dispute among the partners, because of partnership might be for a limited purpose, for a limited time, then partnership gets dissolved. So dissolution of partnership means closing down the business of the firm. So at the time of dissolution of partnership, how the accounts are to be prepared, that is to be learned in this topic. Now next is bills of exchange. Bills of exchange topic is emerged because of credit transactions. There are two types of transaction: cash transaction and credit transaction. So when cash transaction takes place, the transaction is complete because seller gets cash and he hands over the goods to the buyer. But in case of credit transaction, the transaction is not complete because a person who is selling the goods has to receive money for the benefit which he has given. Then bills of exchange comes into picture. Then how the journal entries are to be passed, which accounts are to be prepared, will be learned in bills of exchange. Now, next two topics are related to company accounts. In company accounts, you have to learn two topics, and that is issue of shares and analysis of financial statement. Now, issue of shares means when company, partnership firm or public limited company, private limited company and public limited company, when it wants capital, this capital is collected by the directors of the company by selling shares, and that is called issue of shares. Issue of shares, so how the accounting entries are to be passed when shares are allotted to the shareholders or investing public. Now, the next topic is analysis of financial statement. Now, analysis of financial statement comes into picture after final accounts are over. final accounts are completed, then analysis is done by experts. Analysis is done by the directors of the company. Analysis is done by the creditors, investors, to find out whether their investments are proper or not. In your financial statement, the topics which are covered is comparative statement, common size statement, accounting ratio, and cash flow. So comparative statement will be studied from the point of view of comparing the income statement. Income statement means for you it is profit and loss account. Comparison will be made, what was the profit, what was the expenses, what were the sale, what is the sale, and then the analyst will find out whether he has properly invested money in the company or not. Similarly, there is common size statement and accounting ratios. Ratios are applied by having some formulas which we will be learning afterwards, and with the help of these tools, it's called tools of management, analysis of financial statement is done. And last topic is computer accounting, computer in accounting. So that is actually most of the things will be theory part in that. So now today let us start with bills of exchange, because this topic is basically based on journal entries. So you are conversant with the journal entries because you have already learned in your 11th standard how to record journal entries. Now, what is bills of exchange? Now, bills of exchange is an instrument. Bills of exchange, why bills of exchange? What is this bills of exchange? It is, again I am coming back to my initial words, that in accounts there are two types of transaction. One is called cash transaction and another is credit transaction. Now, in case of cash transaction, we say that goods are sold by one person to another, and in that case, seller gets cash and he hands over the goods to the buyer. So it is said that the transaction is complete. But in case of credit transaction, the transaction is not complete because seller is handing over the goods, asset, to another person against which he has to receive money. And in this case, after the goods are sold or services are given, and if the amount is benefit is not received, then the question of amount receivable or payable comes into picture. Now, if a person has sold goods on credit, then he will pass, suppose there are two parties, A and B. A sells goods worth rupees 10,000 to B. So A will pass the entry B's account debit to sales account. Debit the receiver, credit what goes out, you can say, or there is decrease in the asset, or you can, from income and expenses point of view, your income is receivable. Credit your incomes and gain. So there are various, you can apply, suppose you assume as a stock, goods as a stock, then there is a decrease in the asset, so you have to credit. So the entry which will be passed by the seller in his books of accounts, he will write B's account debit to sales account, because B is the receiver of the goods. Apply the personal rule, debit the receiver, credit the giver. Now, B is a buyer, so he will write in his books of accounts, he will record purchase account debit to his account. He has received the benefit and credit the giver. Now, after this transaction, now amount is still receivable by the seller, or in other words, amount is still not paid by the buyer. So now there is one instrument. Now suppose buyer pays this amount tomorrow, then he will write cash account debit to B's account. Debit what comes in? Increase in the asset, credit the giver. Similarly, B will write A's account debit to cash. A is the receiver, credit what goes out. This is what you already learned. Now, the question of payment. Now, the credit period, credit payment is done by the buyer after a specific period. So in order to increase the sale, manufacturer gives credit to the wholesaler, wholesaler gives credit period to the retailer, and ultimately retailer gives some days credit to the buyer. So the object of giving credit, the purpose of giving credit is to increase the sale. But in the process, suppose a seller does not get money on the due date means decided date. Suppose he sells goods on 1st January and it has to be that you pay me after 1 month. After 1 month, suppose B fails to make the payment, then what A can do? So there is one instrument which is created under the Negotiable Instrument Act and which is called bills of exchange. Now bills of exchange, now I am coming back to the journal entry. See, whatever is recorded in books of accounts, it is recorded with the help of some document. Now when goods are sold, seller will prepare invoice and he will give it to buyer. But this will not stand in the court of law if B fails to make the payment. So for this purpose, under Negotiable Instrument Act, one document which is prescribed is called bills of exchange. So bills of exchange is prepared by the seller. He writes on the stamp paper, he writes in that bill that I have sold you, means I am telling you in simple words. Whatever contents of bills of exchange are to be learned by us after, in due course of time, pro forma bills of exchange, that is part of your syllabus, which carries 5 marks. You have 4 years together. But in nutshell, let me tell you, so seller will write on stamp paper that I have sold you goods worth of so and so, and pay me this money after 1 month. Now this bill will be signed by the seller, which will be sent to the buyer, and then he will accept. Now, this bill will be accepted by the buyer, and then this bill seller will take it into his possession. Now, when buyer fails to make the payment, seller can go to court and file a case against buyer. And in the court of law, bills of exchange will act as an evidence, and then the case will be solved, and in due course of time, seller will get money. Now, this is all legal aspect and other things. Now, coming back to the topic bills of exchange. Now, I am coming back. Now, in bills of exchange topic, buyer, there are two parties. There are actually three parties, that is drawer, drawee and payee. Drawer is seller and drawee is buyer. Now, who is payee? So, let us understand drawee. So, drawer. So, drawer is a person or party who draws bill of exchange on another. Another means a person who has purchased the goods or he has taken services from the seller. He is the creditor because he has to receive money. He is seller of the goods. Now, drawee is a person on whom the bill is drawn. He is debtor because he has purchased the goods without making payment, immediate payment. So, he has to pay money to the drawer. He is buyer of the goods. Once he accepts the bill and returns it to the seller, he becomes acceptor. Now, who is payee? Now, basically, if I go, let me go tell you that in your syllabus, you have to pass journal entries in the books of drawer and prepare drawee's account in the books of drawer. Similarly, you have to pass journal entry in the books of drawee and ledger of drawer. Now, who is payee? Now, payee is a person who is going to get money. The payee is a person or party to whom the bill is made payable. If the bill of exchange is in favor of drawer himself, then in such a case, drawer and payee are same. Means what? Suppose there are three parties, A, B and C. A sells goods to B and draws a bill. So in this case, A is drawer and B is drawee. But on the same day, suppose A purchases goods from C for the same amount, for example 10,000. Then A will have to accept the bill which is drawn by C because he has to pay money to C. So, instead of preparing new bill by C, A will tell to B that make the payment to C. Now, make the payment to C means in his bill, he will write that I have received the goods, but now you make the payment to C because I have purchased goods from him. So, C in this case, C is called payee. So again, payee is a person or party to whom the bill is made payable. So basically there are three parties in bills of exchange, that is drawer, drawee and payee. Now there are two types of acceptances, and these acceptances are general acceptance and qualified acceptance. When drawee simply signs the bill at the back side or front side without any condition, means he says he signs, and whatever is written contents of the bill, he will sign, and it means he accepts whatever is written in the bill. For example, suppose he says, drawer says that you pay me 1,000 after 1 month. So these conditions, terms and conditions are accepted by drawee, and he signs the bill, which is called general acceptance. Now there is another kind, and which is called qualified acceptance. Qualified acceptance is acceptance by the drawee by putting some condition at the time of signing the bills of exchange. Condition relating, now what condition he can put? So he can write, so regarding time, amount, place of payment, etc. Now condition regarding time. So drawer has prepared a bill saying that pay me after 1 month. So, but now at the time of accepting the bill, drawee will tell to the drawer that I am not able to pay in 1 month, I can pay after 1.5 months or 2 months. So then drawer says, okay, write down in your bill while accepting. So he will write accepted payable after 2 months. So this is a condition he has put at the time of accepting the bill, which is called qualified acceptance. Now conditions regarding amount. Now for example, he has sold goods to be worth rupees 10,000. He has prepared the bill saying that pay me 10,000. But after the goods are received, we found that 2,000 goods are defective. So then he will tell to A, you have given me goods worth 10,000, and you have prepared a drawer bill on me for 10,000, but actually the amount payable by me is 8,000 because 2,000 goods are defective. So then A will tell to B, okay, then you write down accepted for 8,000. So this is called qualified acceptance by the drawee. So there are two types of acceptances, kinds of acceptance, general acceptance and qualified acceptance. Now coming to second journal entry. First journal entry we have learned, that is when goods are sold by drawer, that is seller, to drawee, that is buyer. So entry we are recorded is in the books of A, he will write B's account debit to sales, narration, entry for sale of goods, and B will write purchase account debit to his account, entry for purchase of goods from A. Now after the goods are sold, A will prepare the bill, he will send the bill to drawee, and as and when he accepts the bill, till then, before acceptance, till this period, means preparation of bill, signing the bill by drawer, sending the bill to the drawee, it is not valid, because validity or legality of the bill will be only when drawee buyer accepts the bill by signing it and handing over the bill to the drawer. Naturally, seller will take the possession of bill, because if the bill is kept by drawee himself, how drawer will get money? So, when bill which is signed by the drawee, when it so in your question, it will not be given that A draws bill on B, he sends to B, then he accepts. No. When problem says A sell goods to B on so and so date, on the same day A prepares the bill which is accepted by B, it is over for passing the journal entry. So now what entry by seller will pass? So when he takes the possession of bill receivable is an asset. Bill receivable will now, before I go ahead, let me tell you. So this bill will be called by drawer as bill receivable, because he will be getting money against this bill. But same bill, buyer will say it is bills payable, because amount is payable on this bill by buyer to seller. So bill is one, but the head of account is different for the purpose of accounting. So bill receivable will be called by drawer, because he will be getting money on this bill. So what entry will pass? So when he gets the bill in his hands, he will write bills receivable account, increase in the asset. If you apply the rule of real account, debit what comes in, and he will credit B's account, because credit the giver. So bill receivable account debit to B's account will be the entry which will be recorded by drawer or seller, and he will write narration, entry for bill accepted by B for 1 month or 2 months. Now what entry will be passed in the books of drawee? So drawee will pass the entry, A's account debit the receiver, to bills payable, and the narration will be entry for bill accepted drawn by A for 2 months. So these are the two entries which will be passed by drawer and drawee. Now comes the next step. Next step is drawer will wait for 1 month, and he will present the bill, will give the bill, send the bill to drawee for payment. Now there is this is called maturity date or due date of bills of exchange. The date on which the payment of the bill becomes due is called due date or maturity date. Now, in terms of number of days or 1 month, suppose the bill is drawn on 1st January, the due date will be 1st February. But now, in bills of exchange, 3 days of grace are allowed. What is days of grace? In calculating the days of maturity, date of maturity, 3 days known as days of grace are added to the date on which the bill is payable. Suppose the bill is payable on 1st February, then it is allowed for the buyer to make the payment on 4th February. This is called days of grace. So, maturity date will be while writing, while learning, maturity date will be that date which will be after adding 3 days of grace. Why I am telling you? Because when the bill is paid by the honored, now coming in back to that, so bill is paid or honored by the drawee, then while passing the journal entries, you will have to write 4th February and not 1st February. Now, another aspect of days of grace is that when you add 3 days in your date of payment of bill, if the date is on public holiday, that is on 26th January and 15th August, in that case, the date of maturity will be previous date, that is 25th January or it is 14th August. So, what is maturity date? We saw. What is days of grace? How to calculate these days of grace? Now, we will learn third entry. On the due date, that is after adding days of grace, the bill will be presented or handed over to the drawee, and drawee has to make the payment. So, drawee will take the position of bill. So, when the bill is handed over to the drawee and when cash is received or check is received by the drawer, then he will pass the entry cash or bank account debit to bills receivable. Increase in the asset, decrease in the asset. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. You can apply both the rules. Cash account debit because he gets cash real account and he is giving the bill to the drawee. So credit what goes out. So the entry will be cash or bank account debit to bills receivable. Entry for bill honored by drawee. Now what is honoring of bill? Honoring of bill means when an acceptor, drawee, meets the bill or pays the bill of exchange on the due date, bill is said to be honored. Honoring of bill, so that is the definition of honoring of bill. So on the due date, when drawer honors the bill or pays, drawee honors the bill or pays the bill, the entry cash to a bank account debit to bill receivable. Now what entry will be passed by the drawee? The entry which will be passed by the drawee will be bills payable account debit to cash or bank account. Entry for payment of bill drawn by drawer or entry for drawer's bill met on due date. So the date of payment in your journal, in date column you have to write the date after adding 3 days of grace. So these are the 3 entries which we have learned today. Now, so this is how bills of exchange instrument acts as a replacement for credit transaction. If in order to get the money after due date, after some time, then this bills of exchange comes into picture. Now, coming to next part, and that is entry number 4. Now, entry number 4 will consist of 3 sub entries, and 4A you can say 4B, 4C. Now, suppose drawer is in need of money, then he can get money with the help of these bills of exchange. So, before maturity, suppose drawer is in need of money, he can discount the bill with bank. Discounting of bill of exchange means selling bill to banker before maturity. Underline the word before maturity. For cash. So he can get finance by selling the bill to the banker. The bank advances the amount after deducting certain discount. Now, why bank should pay less money to the drawer? Because banker will have to wait till the date of maturity. Bank will get money after 1 month. If suppose the bill is drawn on 1st January and if it is discounted by drawer on 1st January, then bank will get money after 1 month plus 3 days, 4th February. So it is a sort of loan which is given by the bank to the drawer, and for this discount is charged by the drawer, by the bank to the drawer. So this advancing of money to the drawer is against certain less amount after deducting certain discount. The amount of discount so deducted depends upon the prevailing rate of interest, then period of bill, and of course amount of the bill. So the discounting of bill is done by the drawer, means before maturity drawer can avail the finance benefit with the help of this instrument. So after calculating discount, bank will give amount to the drawer. So what is the entry? The entry will be passed in the books of drawer is cash or bank account debit. Suppose the bill is for 10,000 and bank deducts 100 rupees as a discount. So cash account debit 9,900, discount account debit 100 rupees. 2 bills receivable. So cash increase in the asset, debit what comes in, discount is nominal account, debit your expenses and losses, and credit what goes out, decrease in the asset. So bill is handed over to the drawer, handed over to the bank. So the journal entry which is passed in the books of drawer is cash or bank account debit, discount account debit, 2 bills receivable. Narration will be bill discounted with the bank at the rate of so and so. Now, what drawee will do? Drawee will not do anything because he is not aware what drawer is doing. He has to wait till the date of maturity, and as and when that date comes, he has to make the payment. So, no entry will be passed in the books of drawee because entry will be passed only when he makes the payment, and he will make the payment on the date of maturity. So, when bill is discounted by the drawer with the bank, cash account debit, discount account debit to bills receivable will be the entry. Now, next we will discuss remaining entries next time. So, tomorrow I will be taking lecture on economics, one day economics and next date is accounts. So, thank you very much for listening to me for a year, for an hour. Thank you very much.